FedEx just came and delivered this box. Heavy. And it is heavy. I think this thing weighs about 136 pounds. Or something like that. This is our battery from Renogy for the solar power system for the truck camper. It's in a box. Inside a box. Inside another box. It's alright though. We've got some instructions and information here. And there is the battery. I'm not even going to take it out of this box right now because, as I said, it is super heavy. But this is our 200 amp hour battery from Renogy. It's a deep cycle sealed AGM battery. What does this say here? Just charge characteristics and user manual. Valve regulated lead acid battery. Okay. Glad that finally showed up. Dave's going to cut this piece of metal with our plasma torch cutter. And what is this for, you might ask yourself? This is going to go on the exterior of the door to the truck camper. The bottom part of it is kind of messed up. This will also make it stronger. In flip-flops. We have this box fan out here, just turned it off, but it's been blowing inside here for quite a while because during all the rain that we had, this camper did leak. But that is, I think, because I have not had a chance to properly go around and seal everything yet. Not since we have owned it have I been able to do that. So the only thing it has on it for new sealant is new paint, and there's been no new silicone or anything added. So now finally it has dried out enough that we'll be able to do that. It didn't leak in too many places. I was actually pretty proud of how little it leaked, but there were a couple of spots, and it's just where seams and stuff are on the outside that have to be sealed. So anyway, we had the fan blowing in here. It's dried it out. Super hot Texas dry. These are part of the solar roof rack attachment project. Those have been in for a while. They've put them in. I only just now filming them. He just got done drilling the holes through these from the roof that the bolts are going to go through, that are going to go into the rack that he built to attach them to the roof. So that's what's going on inside. And no other progress on the inside. It's mostly been solar and painting and exterior project. Okay, well, explain whatever you want to talk about.
We're bolting them down with threaded rod. We got a nylock nut on the bottom, a fender washer. That's going to go through the roof. Then we're putting another fender washer with sealant on it. Then a whiz nut, flange locking nut on top of that. Cinch it down tight. Then there'll be a spacer, probably PVC pipe, and then another nylock nut on the top to hold the assembly down.
Didn't we have most of this hardware?
Yeah.
Did we buy these though?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we had run out of washers. But we also bought the threaded rod, didn't we?
We had to buy a threaded rod.
Yeah, we used to have lots of threaded rod, but we used it all up.
I'm putting together our penetration plug for the roof and the solar panels.
These cables that will be attached to the solar panels have to come inside the camper to get to the other components. So we've got these pieces here, different various parts that we're gonna use to make a hole in the roof. There's like a mounting plate that Dave made, and it's gonna go through that into the camper, and we wanted to try to make it as waterproof as possible. We bought these fittings. These have a, I don't know what you would call this, like a pinch. This is one of the fittings that we got to run the cables through when they penetrate the roof of the camper. These are the cables that run to the solar panels on the roof. And what it is, trying to be waterproof, is it's got this little device inside. I'm gonna call it a device. Someone else probably's got a better name for it. But it cinches up around the wire or the cable that runs through it. You like are able to turn and tighten this, and when that happens, it causes this little thing to tighten up around the cable, creating a more waterproof, less bug entry type hole that also sort of grabs the cable. We've got O-rings that we're putting around all of the pieces that join together. This is another part of what we devised for running the cables from the solar panels through the roof of the truck camper. These are just items that, most of this we got in the electrical department, but these are just PVC. They were over in where the plumbing and stuff is. So these are those parts that I showed you before that this goes on the end of. The little cables will come in here. There's a positive and a negative cable off the solar panels. So they're separate, and there's two, and they're each going to come in here, and they're going to turn and go in this, which has this nice handy dandy cover on it that's gasketed that we can take off to access if we need to, or help run it through there. And then it's going to go in through here, and this is what's going to go through the roof. And Dave made a metal plate that this is going to go in through, and that's how it's going to get in there to the inside. Punching more holes in the roof. There's the small hole Dave just drilled through our roof, and these are the rivets that are holding on that plate that he made for the top for stuff to go through. He's gonna drill a bigger hole now. These are the hard points that Dave put in. This has threaded rod through it that sticks up quite a ways on top of the camper, which I showed you before when I was talking about the finish. And that's where the rack for the solar panels is going to attach to the camper. Okay, we've got the cables in here, and we made sure to label them on the inside, because there's fittings on the other end that plug into the solar panels, and one, it has a female type attachment and then the other one is the male adapter attaching mechanism, so it matters in how you hook this up. There's a lot of information about how we're going to be hooking this solar power system up, because there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. You can hook things up in series or parallel, and that depends largely on what kind of controller you have for our size, this system that we're doing. So we'll be going over all of that as we start to hook this up. I'm going to show y'all the entire cabling through the roof. Okay, here's how we came through the roof. These two cables, or these two ends of the cables, are going to attach to the solar panels, which are going to be mounted on the rack, which is going to attach to hard points here on the camper. They come in through this contraption. It's not really a contraption, it's like an apparatus that we created. Dave made this plate and it's secured onto the camper, and then the cables run through these, which have little like clamps so that hopefully it's fairly watertight. Probably gonna put some silicone around there as well anyway. Then let's go down and inside. These are the same cables. They come through here. Then they're running through the ceiling. There's gonna be paneling on the top of this Imagine, and we've got them going through here, over through here. Then they're gonna come through the ceiling on the outside of the paneling, on the outside of the wall. We're gonna run them inside like a piece of conduit, or we put a piece of metal or whatever over the top of them. They're gonna run down the wall, and then over here is where our battery situation is gonna be. The battery is gonna be down on the floor, but the controller and stuff like that is gonna be somewhere around over here. We haven't exactly got it all designed yet, how it's gonna be. But these cables then go from the solar panel into the controller. Then there's other cables that run from the controller over to the battery, which is going to be down here. We're going to build a box around it, and it's actually going to be inside of the step that we're going to make for getting up into the bed, because we're extending this bed platform, recall, I think I've mentioned that before, so that we can fit a queen size mattress up here. Right now it's only large enough for I don't know, probably a standard size bed. Not working for Dave and I. That's not gonna cut it. So anyway, I don't know if y'all can envision that. Hopefully I've described it well.